Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another film review. Today, we are going to take a look at Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. IMDb is giving us a 6.3. This is available on Netflix. Keo, what do you think about that 6.3?
I agree with it and I disagree with it. This kind of thing. I have a love-hate relationship with this movie. I was a big fan of the first movie. I've seen both of these movies in the theater, and when I walked out of the theater, the first movie, I was like, "Holy crap, man! This is a thing. This is fire." Because Heat is one of my all-time favorite movies. Like I watch Heat religiously. I've seen it so many times, ridiculous. And this movie has that elements of Heat, or you gain both perspectives of the cops chasing the bad guys and the bad guys, and you see both of their sides of it. And there's really no good guys. There's no winners in this thing. The cop in this movie, Gerard Butler, he's awful. That guy's a scumbag. And then the bad guys, they're all awful. 50 Cent, Pablo, they're all bad. O'Shea, they're all terrible people. Like just across the board, all awful people committing crime or stopping crime. Like it's the same thing. So I didn't love the movie. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Had I just saw this movie and never saw the first movie and didn't have this big relationship with the first movie, I think I would have liked this movie a lot better. And I think realistically, it's because I think maybe it's because the characters in the second movie and the time. I think it was a little bit too long. I think some of the areas could have dragged, like him getting into the Diamond District and him working like that. That went on for a long time. That was a movie in itself of him getting into the Diamond District and him getting an office and him going talking to the person. Like it was a whole long thing. But like, this is the thing. I still like the movie though, and I like the characters. And I like that Ice Cube's son is a badass. I like that. He's playing low key, like, oh no, I don't know what's going on. Oh no, I planned this whole thing. Yeah, he's acting like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh, I planned this entire thing. I'm the ringleader. I'm the boss. You guys work for me. I like that. He's good. He's a good actor. I hope he gets a lot more work. I like him and stuff too.
O'Shea is the next generation of black superstar artists, just like John David Washington and all of these other
he's
black men and women coming up. Yeah, he's pretty good. You know,
he's got range.
I was about to ask you think he has range or is he typecast?
I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. Like he's completely different. Everything he's in. I think he's a really good. I think he cares. Because, as a kid, he's been around Hollywood.
Yeah.
And he's been around actors and rappers and stuff like that his entire life. And he likes the craft. I seen him do an interview and he was talking to wrestlers. And I was like, oh, this guy cares about stuff. So I appreciate him even more once I saw the interview. Like he gets what's going on. And I think he's trying. So yeah. I rate him for that. I give him props for that.
Yeah. He seems like I've seen him in a few interviews as well, and he's definitely one of those actors who's into the art. You know what I'm saying? It's just like his dad was into the art of rapping and music. This guy's into the art of acting, so I kind of appreciated that. Yeah. In terms of the movie, people who watch the Behind the Groove podcast, they know that I am not a fan of long movies. Long movies are dumb. Let me say that again. Yes. Long movies in 2025, 2024, 2023, and beyond are dumb. Just get to it. But I will say this. Generally, if we are reviewing a pretty long movie, 2.5 hours, like the Triple R, the Indian joint, the Bollywood joint was like almost 3 hours long.
That's a long movie, bro.
And I sat down and I watched that joint from start to end, in one sitting. This movie here, I started watching it and I continued watching it and I finished it in one sitting. And I'm going to say this about the movie, right?
Yeah.
As I was watching it, first of all, we both know and we both agree that, dude, visually, the location, everything
filming in Europe is so much better, man. It's not even close.
It
is not even close.
There is nothing in America that can equate or compete with the setting of these like old school European like
Mhm.
cities, right? And towns, right? So they
You
shot
get
this
the
in
feeling you
Italy.
get when you're watching them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
shot it in France, and I was just, and these are real locations. This wasn't like something, it's just like they're not in Canada, they're actually in
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they
you
they
know,
went there.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm
Mhm.
watching it and I'm just like, okay, I like what's going on with the story. The plot is pretty
Mhm.
good, right? I did
Mhm.
not think,
Mhm.
check this out, throughout the entire almost 2 hours and 30-minute film, I thought
Yes.
that there was not any walking and
Mhm.
talking.
No, there isn't. It kinda it gets to what they're doing. There's some sitting down and talking, but they generally, like, it's just they're not stalling.
Right.
They're not stalling, like, we need another 20 minutes in this movie, quick. Do some BS real quick." Like, they weren't doing that. So, I appreciate that. I agree with you on the visuals, like, just man, being shooting in Europe, there's stuff that you can see that you cannot see here anywhere. There is no, I don't know any city that's got, like, Gothic buildings that have been there for, 500 years.
You
You know what I'm
can,
saying?
right. Oh my goodness, 500 years exactly. It's just
There's nothing like that that's been sitting there. Like, they don't just roads that just the wind a certain way. Like, I know San Francisco has that, but, like, there's houses there. It's not an epic thing with the ocean next to it
yeah.
road.
Mhm.
You can see the Mediterranean or whatever. Like, it's just it doesn't look like that. So
Yeah.
I agree with you visually.
Excuse me.
There's something about shooting in Europe for things and like it adds to the story. It's definitely another character to the story of just being in these places that are unique and interesting in itself. Um I like the storyline was good. I think the storyline was really decent.
Yeah, I thought so too.
My thing is pacing, man. Pacing bothered me in this movie because I watched this in the
Okay.
theater
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, when's the shootout gonna start? Oh no, they're still talking. Okay, cool. All right, when's the thing gonna like? Oh no, this is more. this they're more thinking about what's going on here versus actual blasting and running and driving. Like they
Mhm.
had, a car chase. They did do that, and they had a couple of things that happened, but generally, it wasn't that actiony type of movie. It wasn't like the Ronin or like the car chases all over France
Yeah.
and Nice or like that. It was
Mhm.
like it was kind of it was more plot driven, which wasn't a bad thing. Like I'm used to watching
A
that.
good
I
plot
think I
though. Good plot.
expected yeah, no, the plot was
Mhm.
good, but I think I expected the more shootouts and stuff like that. But like the problem with that is he wasn't the shootout guy. He was the thinking guy from the first movie.
Yeah.
So why would he have shootouts? That doesn't make any sense.
You
You know what I'm
know,
saying? Like logically.
yeah, what's really interesting is like see, when we were talking about like Demon City last week, I said to you, I was like, I thought there was a little bit of like walking and talking, but I thought the flow of the entire
Mhm,
movie was kind of cool. Now, with Den of Thieves Part 2 Pantera,
mhm,
I thought that the flow, I thought there was
mhm.
some cohesion, even though we didn't have bang bang a lot of times. This is almost a 2.5 hour
Yeah.
movie. We didn't have bang bang all the time. But the cohesion, just like the flow of it, the storyline of it, the
Mhm,
plot. And when I'm watching a movie, what I'm really into when there's a bad guy? Bad guys with
mhm.
ethics. You know, like
That's
listen,
fair,
like
yeah.
really, it's just like, when a mob approached like, O'Shea, they were like, dude, you took
Mhm.
my stone. You got to get this joint back or, you're gonna have a problem. He got it back,
Yeah.
and they were like, they were about to get shot up by the Serbs, right? Or what were they?
Mhm.
Serbs or like Albanians? They were Albanians, I think,
Yeah,
right?
they're from the Balkans, they're
Right,
like
huh? And so
that.
they were like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
They came out and like they Swiss cheese the folks up. And I was just like, you know what? That's what I'm
Mhm,
talking about. It's just like, yo, he took something from me
mhm,
because he's a criminal like me, right? I
mhm.
went to him as a
Yeah.
criminal. I'm like, you have something that I have. I need it back, right? Right
Mhm,
there, no, nothing else needs to be said. I'm a mobster. You're a criminal. You took something from me. I need it back. Go get it, right? He got it, brought
yeah.
it back. Everything was good. He respected the guy, right? He
Mhm,
respected the
yeah.
guy so much that when it was all said and done, It's dude.
Yeah. No, I know where you're getting to. I don't know if we're going to do spoiler time, but
right.
like,
You know,
I get where you're going
I didn't want to
to.
say that, but you know,
Yeah.
I really like this film. Again, you know, people who watch the Behind the Groove podcast, I'm not into like seriously long
Mhm.
films. That's dumb, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? I just it seemed like every 10 or 15 minutes of this film, I was like, ooh, I want to continue watching it. Ooh, I want to continue watching it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to continue
Visually,
watching it. Visually,
visually, there's some stuff going on, man.
there's some stuff going
100%.
on.
There's some stuff going on.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's also, you know, you have these two Americans who are like
Mhm.
trying to do work with the Panthers, the Albanians, right? And it's just like,
Yeah.
first of all, there's no trust there, right? You know, American
It's zero
criminals do
trust.
things totally
It's
different
zero trust.
than like, you know,
Cow-
Albanian, Russian Christian.
Cowboys, Western
Exactly.
cowboys. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, but I would say this, like, you know, just based on this film, you know, like the American
Mhm.
criminals, they're like, well, we don't want to kill anyone. We just want money. Whereas like Albanian, you know, the Italians, the Russians, they're just like, yo, you know what? You're in the way,
Like, air it out.
you're out.
Air them out. You're in the
Air
way.
them out.
Get
You
out
know
the
what
way,
I'm saying?
bro.
So I'm
Yeah.
watching the joint and I'm just like, okay, not serious action, but like location wise, visually, that all sucked me in,
Mhm.
right? You gotta love Gerard
Yeah.
Butler. O'Shea Jackson
Mhm.
Jr., Ice Cube Jr. is an up and coming,
Yeah.
you know, actor.
I like him, man. He's
He's
been in a
coming
couple
up,
things that
right?
I'm like,
Is he
okay,
not
this not
coming
bad.
up? He is
Yeah,
coming up.
this how you know.
Hmm.
When he's on stuff, he's not distracting of like, oh, come on, bro, what you doing here? I don't look at him like that. I'm like, oh, this is character. All right, cool.
Yeah,
Like you know, like Denzel's son.
John David Washington.
He's
Hmm.
yeah, John David Washington. He's not. I watched him. He used to be on this TV show with The Rock, and he used to play a football player that's like 5'5". I was like, get out of here, bro. Stop it.
Yeah.
You're not a wide receiver. But like, forget all that. It's fine. She's been running back in the show,
He
but
sold
whatever.
it
It's
though.
fine.
He sold that. He sold the character, right?
Yeah,
As a 5'5"
that for me,
receiver.
I didn't know that's Denzel's son until well into the show, and I was like, "Get the hell out of here!" I liked him more as a character because he didn't have that aspect of him. But like as far as O'Shea, first time I saw O'Shea acting was in the Ice Cube movie, the NWA movie. That's the first time I saw him acting.
Yeah,
I
me
was like,
too.
"Oh, this guy is
Me
just like
too.
his
Hmm.
dad." Yo, I remember that the NWA days. I remember that, and I'm like, "Yo, he's exactly like his dad. This is crazy."
And you know what else is really interesting? This new
Mhm.
crop of emerging artists, like you know the O'Shea's, the John David, just all of these young art
Mhm.
actors and actresses that are coming up. Man, they are really good. We have a really good crop of like emerging artists that's going to take over or take, you know, move into the places that some of these older big names, you know, big Hollywood stars, you know, are occupying right now. You know, and it's just like
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. It's just like it's time for you guys to move
Step
over,
aside, bro. Step aside.
pass the
Like Michael B.
baton.
Jordan's another one.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's good too. Like there's a bunch of them. Who's the dude that played King? He's doing a comeback right now because his charges got dropped. He's on the
Oh,
comeback
Jonathan
trail.
Majors.
Yeah, I like Jonathan Majors too. Like, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah, but you know they had to, you know, yeah, it's a lot
That
to
was
say
that
about
was like,
him.
hey, you get in line, bro.
Yeah,
That's what that was. That was
th-
like you get in
that
line.
was.
That's
We're not
totally
gonna
off
get
topic,
into
but
that.
like
That's a little planty
I
right there, you know.
yeah,
But
I like him as an actor. I think he's a good actor,
I think so
and
too.
I hope he can make a comeback. I think everybody deserves a second chance to do a comeback, depending on what you did.
Yeah,
Depending on
America,
what you did.
America loves a comeback story. You know what I'm
His
saying?
story, I saw that live. I'm like, oh, get
Mhm.
out of here with that BS. That's some trash right there. But I'm just saying, I think he deserves a comeback. I hope he's able to get back into some stuff.
Let me ask you this
These are
here.
as far as black male characters. There's a good crop of
It's a
them
good
there.
crop. Yeah,
Like
women too.
they need to be in more stuff.
Yeah. Let
Yes,
me ask you
they need
this
more
here.
stuff.
Did
Mhm.
you feel that there was a lack of action in Den of Thieves to Pantera?
Yes, but it wasn't. I don't think it was supposed to be an action movie. I came in there expecting action, like the first movie. I was expecting some kind of heisty thing, and like while there's a heist there, it was more low key. because like the first heist, like they're robbing banks, they did a
Mhm.
bunch of stuff. This one, they're robbing a jewelry, was it the safe? And they're in a jewelry district in France. That's like basically like going into the
That's
White
on
House. That's
lockdown.
basically what that place
Exactly.
is. It's on lock. And so that's what this movie's about. So you can't really have shootouts in there
Yeah.
because the whole point is supposed to be invisible, or these guys can't know they were robbed, or the people who got goods there can't know they got robbed. And so like everything's low key. Um, there was there was a little bit of action, but the point of the story wasn't the action.
It,
And
it,
like the first
mhm.
point of the story was action because they were trying to be heat. That's basically what the movie is, heat. And so, like it's different.
So if you're like a rah-rah criminal, you mobbing up the whole nine, you're killing people, right? When you talk about
Yeah.
like huge heists, like a really huge heist was that Maple heist in
Mhm.
Canada. Remember? They like
Mhm.
like cats came in and they ripped off an entire supply, a
Yeah.
global supply of
Yeah.
maple syrup, right? And that had
Yeah.
nothing
Which
to,
is valuable. People realize how valuable that is.
yeah.
It's very valuable.
I mean, it's maple syrup is New York, Vermont, and Canada. Period. That's it, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That wasn't a crime of like, violence. You had to
Yeah.
really sit down intelligently, think about
Mhm.
how you want to put that together. It's almost like, when you look at old school Mission Impossible, how they were putting everything together. It's just like,
Hey, to
it's
get
not
in
about
there, you
killing
gotta get the
anyone.
stuff out.
It's all
Yeah.
about get in, get out, right? That's what this was all about.
Mhm.
This was like, okay, this is what's going on. This is how we're going to
Mhm.
do it. Let's case it out. And, even O'Shea, he was just like, this is how I came up. I just was walking to this school and I just kept casing out these homes and just tried like a,
Mhm.
little heist. So, it wasn't like you said, it wasn't really about the action in this film because these are crimes of
Yeah.
intelligence. It's almost like an art heist, right? It's just like you're not killing anyone. You're trying to get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
a situation where you can get in without any, complications and get out without anyone being hurt. And that's what this was all
Mhm.
about. But I mean, the mob was involved as well because oh boy took a stone, And let me say this
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
We're watching this film. We're like in the film and at the
Mhm.
sort of like at towards the end of the film. And remember, Gerard Butler plays like a cop from like LA, basically,
Yeah.
right?
It's a big, big cop.
A
He's
big
a giant cop.
right, exactly, and for him to go over to France and then to say that I actually want to be part of this heist, and then to come to
Mhm.
find out it was all like cover. And I was just like,
Yeah.
and the thing about it, in a lot of films, they'll say they're going to give you that up front, and then they're going to give you the story. And I love the fact that they
Yeah.
just went through the story.
You did not know
You
until the
did,
end.
and you did not know until the end. And that's what I'm saying. When that came upon me, I was just like, wow, this
Mhm.
film is really super interesting to me. What about
Mhm.
you?
No, no, like it's very interesting. Like I can't take away from that aspect of it. I think though, if you shave like maybe 5 to 10 minutes out of it, I would have liked it better. I think that it was they were enjoying themselves too much. Like when they're filming, like it's just like, oh, look at this spot. Like look, just talking
Sparking
about
up
really
blunts
you're
and whatnot at
painting.
the club. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're doing your thing. You could have shaved a little bit out of there, and I think the movie would have been better for it. But overall, I did like the movie, like overall, but I still like the first one better.
Yeah,
And because the first one has the shock of like O'Shea he's the scam artist who set this whole thing up.
he's pretty
That blew
good.
my mind when I watched the first movie because you don't get that impression at all from
Yeah.
the first movie. He just looks like he's a bum tagging along. You don't look like, oh, I planned this entire thing.
and
That
and
you
that's what I'm
get that
saying.
impression.
It's just like okay, so O'Shea, he's not a violent criminal. He just like to go in, rob
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, listen, if you're in a situation where you roll into something, to rob or
Mhm.
something like that. Again, you're not trying to be violent. You still have to protect yourself as a criminal. You may have a hammer on you or whatever. and you may
Yeah.
have to
I mean,
use
that's
it,
fair. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
yeah, the film, it was really interesting to me. We are talking about Den of Thieves to
Mhm.
Pantera. Keo, you said this was in the theaters first, huh?
Yeah, I watched this in the theaters. It wasn't on Netflix first.
However, this is a Netflix film that was like released in the theaters first.
Yeah. And no, it was for the theaters. I
Okay.
watched this in the theaters. Yeah.
Okay, and also the first one was also released in the theater first as well, right?
Yeah. The first one was in the theaters
Okay,
too.
wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. So we are talking about like Den of Thieves to Pantera. Keo, what are you going to rate this film?
I give it a 7, and I gotta clarify here.
Hmm.
I gave the first one a 9. I love the first movie,
Okay, I got to go
and
back and
so
watch
I
the
give it.
first one then.
I give this one a 7, but I didn't hate it. I liked it, but I just like the first one more. I think that's the best way I can describe it. The
How
first one
long
is
was the
better to
first one?
me.
Pretty long too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that happens in the first movie. First, pretty long.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to like rewatch that. I
Mhm.
am gonna give. I was really kind of taken aback how like interested I would be. Like I
Mhm.
was into this movie as it went on. Again, this is a 2.5 movie. I think 2.5 movies are dumb. I think like 3 hour
Yeah.
movies are dumb. Even dumber. There's an Indian movie that's available on Netflix that's 3.5 hours long.
That was great though. That movie was great.
Right. But there is another Indian film on
Oh,
Netflix
okay.
that's 3.5 hours long. And I'm quite
Yeah.
sure the Indian productions are like completely epic. So you may be into that, right? But
Yeah.
even as at 2.5, almost 2.5 hours, I still think that's pretty long. However, I sat down in one
Mhm.
sitting, watched this movie because the plot, the flow, visually,
Mhm.
on location in Italy, the south of France. I mean, water,
It's visually it's stunning. There's some stuff here. There's some shots in here like
ethical
wow.
criminals. You gotta love ethical criminals. You know what I'm saying? It's just like criminals
Yeah,
with the
that's fair.
code. It's just like, well, he
Mhm.
really didn't do anything to me. He's a criminal. He took something from me. Let me just ask him to give it back to me. And
Yeah,
if he,
because
you
normally
know,
those guys will butcher everybody and then come
right.
get you.
You know what
Like
I'm saying?
that's what happened.
But
They're like, just get it back. That's
but he
fine.
also said he was just like, and you know what? You took something, and you know what? I'm kind of impressed. You work for me now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
Yeah, so it's just like they were so impressed with like what he did to how he accomplished to
Mhm.
steal this like stone that they were like,
Yeah.
no, 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 don't kill him. Let's just like track him. Let's make sure he get it back for us. And then and again, the guy was like arrested. He was about to go to jail. The whole nine. He was in
Mhm.
jail, and
Oh, it was
listen.
about to be a wrap, man.
Right, exactly. The whole plot, the whole storyline, I really super duper. Hey, I got a bartender here. Okay, oh, all right. The plot, the storyline, I really,
Mhm.
really enjoyed this film for a film
Mhm.
that's almost 2.5 hours long. And I can't
It's for
say
sure you
anything.
feel it. It's
Right.
long.
I,
I
I'm
I
I'm
liked it though, but
I'm
it's
giving
long.
this film an 8.5, dude. I really liked it. I mean,
That's fair.
I've really enjoyed it, man. As a matter of fact, I was really thinking about like last night. Nothing was really on,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I was thinking about rewatching it because it was really so good. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
it's a pretty good film. But you know what? We both gave it really high ratings. Keo gave it a 7. I gave it an 8.5. Den of
Mhm.
Thieves 2 Pantera. It's on Netflix. Go check it out. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.